Coming up on show 571, Mercedes-Benz teases their EQS, Tesla Model 3 right-hand drives take a different route to the UK, and Hyundai Motorsport go electric racing. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the show, EV News Daily, your edition for Thursday, 5th of September, 2019. My name is Martyn Lee, going through every EV story I can find to save you time. Well, Mercedes-Benz, the EQC, the SUV, has got its 5-star safety rating from the Euro NCAP testers. Euro NCAP released the safety ratings of 7 car models, including Mercedes-Benz first electric SUV. It is, of course, the EQC. Turns out to be very strong in occupant safety. For adults, occupants 96%, child's 90%, vulnerable road users 75%, and safety assist 75% as well. So some fantastic results coming out of that. Mercedes-Benz enters the all-electric market with their luxury SUV, the EQC. It's the first of Daimler's EQ range, and its rating has done very well. 5-star safety rating, good all-round performance, a growing trend towards battery electric vehicles, joining Jaguar's I-Pace, the Audi e-tron, other cars that are top rated for safety, and the Model X is going to be assessed later this year. Moving on to another Mercedes car, the EQS, the electric sedan, and Mercedes-Benz are moving forward with their sub-brand by teasing the model ahead of the Frankfurt Motor Show. The EQS is an all-electric S-Class counterpart, electric luxury, they say, without the compromise. According to Motor1.com, we saw a few reports about the EQS coming, spy photos of a camouflage prototype, but there were no details confirmed really. We know it's going to be long range. We know the specs are going to be great, even better than the Mercedes-Benz EQC, which in many ways is a sensible car, sensibly priced, not overloaded with tech. But the EQS, well, that's going to have all of the luxury toys that you would want from Mercedes-Benz S-Class. So, what do you reckon? 300 miles, 310 miles of WLTP range, 150 kilowatt charging, all sounds about right to me. Looking forward to finding out more about that at the Frankfurt Motor Show. Those waiting for a right-hand drive version of Tesla's Model 3. Several semi-truck loads of the Model 3 in right-hand drive configuration are on the move. They're currently on their way from the headquarters in Fremont, California, and heading to the port of Philadelphia. And they're doing that to transport the cars to this country, to its UK customers. This alternative route of travel is going to provide quicker delivery times than the usual path. And that normally takes the Teslas around the western part of the country via San Francisco, then through the Panama Canal. This strategy could well help increase their delivery numbers in Q2, because this route could be cost-saving and ultimately a lot shorter as well, says Teslarati. Teslarati say the quicker transit looks to save about 2 weeks from the typical shipping time, as detailed in a report by Ex-Auto World. The usual route from San Francisco to Zeebrugge. Now, Zeebrugge is in Belgium, normally about 10,500 nautical miles, shipping time 24 days, if you're interested. And depending on a few variables, the distance from Philly to Zeebrugge, well, that cuts it down about 4,000 nautical miles and a travel time of 10 days. Sounds like a no-brainer to me. Now, Hyundai want to go motor racing electric style. Hyundai Motorsport is excited about its first EV envisioned racing car, and they've released a quick video teaser ahead of an unveiling at, you guessed it, the Frankfurt Motor Show. This unveiling happening on September the 10th, says Mark Kane for Inside EVs. Now, this video teaser is all focused around power and electricity. And there's going to be some crazy performance in a Hyundai racing car and hundreds of kilowatts of power. The video description on YouTube says this: he always said the i30 TCR was like his child, but now he's created a monster. The FIA WTCR winner Gabriele Tarquini gives life to the first Hyundai electric race car. All will be revealed on September the 10th at IAA in Frankfurt. Really looking forward to that, because I reckon once we start going racing with electric cars that look like the kind of cars you can buy, and I guess we are kind of already doing that with the I-Pace series that support the Formula E races. But the more we have electric car racing, the more it will capture people's imaginations. The kind of people that are flicking around TV of a weekend and see some racing that looks good, looks like touring car racing, and they happen to be all electric. Can't wait for a bit more of that. Let's move on to McLaren, a car, of course, a brand synonymous with going racing. McLaren has dabbled in electrifying its vehicles, adding some electric power. The P1, McLaren's limited edition plug-in hybrid. The McLaren car was built for 375 examples over 2 years, and now McLaren are talking about EV performance, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be exploring pure EV performance. According to Anthony at motor1.com, in a new interview with motoring.com.au, Jamie Korstefan is McLaren's global marketing director, said in the interview the company's exploring a fully electric offering. However, they won't produce one until it would be a better sports car. It doesn't want to offer one simply to meet emission standards or other benchmarks. It's got to be a purebred racer. Means McLaren's pursuit of lightness won't go away with an electric hypercar. But saying that, that's talking about a full battery electric car. Let's go from McLaren to Lamborghini. And Lamborghini has just made its most powerful car ever. The Sian, the Sian, the Sian, S-I-A-N. And they did so by creating a hybrid powertrain, but with supercapacitors. Now, supercapacitors are unlike lithium-ion batteries or electrochemical batteries. They can charge and discharge in an instant, but the drawback is most of them have very low energy density. They can't store enough energy to be viable to make a full battery electric car out of only supercapacitors, says Fred at Electric. He says that Lamborghini, who haven't been quick to adopt electric technology, must be admitted, has been at the forefront, though, of using supercapacitors. And now the Sian, however you say it, is the latest example of how Lamborghini is adopting the technology. The first application of a supercapacitor in a hybrid technology. Lamborghini, I got a statement from them. They say it's 3 times more powerful than a battery of the same weight and 3 times lighter than a battery producing the same power. Located in the bulkhead, it's between the cockpit and the engine. It ensures perfect weight distribution. The electric system with a supercapacitor and e-motor weighs 34 kilograms, delivering remarkable power to weight, or weight to power ratio, I should say. Right, 2 more stories, and we go from supercars to little cars, to small cars, but not necessarily cheap cars, depending on who you ask. Let's talk Honda, then we'll talk Renault. First of all, the Honda E is going to appear in 2 versions. Yes, the Honda E, the cute as a button city car that's got incredible styling. Honda will present its first EV model for the European market in serial production at, you guessed it, the Motor Show in Frankfurt, and now it's teasing photos of the final version. The Japanese manufacturer said they plan to release some more details that aren't known about the car. According to Electrive, the electric motor of the Honda E is going to come in 2 power ratings. The first one is going to be 100 kilowatts. The bigger one, 113 kilowatts. The battery, though, will be the same size, 35.5 kilowatt-hour battery, providing a range of up to 220 kilometers. Honda had previously mentioned a figure they were aiming for of 200, so they've exceeded that. The technical data and all the internal data says at the minute, according to the manufacturer, that is secret. The key data we do know, CCS rapid charging, the Honda E has got enough performance for some spirited driving as a commuter vehicle. Honda currently estimates fuel consumption 18 to 20 kilowatt hours every 100 kilometers. Even the more powerful BMW i3, less aerodynamic because of the height of it, achieves better values. According to Electrive, I'll pop a link to that website in the show notes. And finally, let's talk the Renault Zoe, the car that the host of this podcast happily drives. The new electric Renault Zoe, which has been at times Europe's best-selling EV, France's best-selling EV. They love their domestic automaker, Renault. Now available to pre-order from mid-September in this country. Available to pre-order now in France and Germany, but in the UK mid-September. Prices starting for my UK listeners at £18,670. Customer deliveries start January 2020. What did I tell you? Nobody wants to sell you an EV before the 1st of January 2020 because the EU, the European emissions laws that are coming in, the fines are so significant for automakers that make fossil cars. They need to start selling EVs, but anything they sell this year doesn't count towards the quota. So everybody is going to be unleashing their EVs from the 1st of January. 7 years after the release of the best-selling predecessor, Zoe has evolved in quality, technology, still is affordable, because I'm not buying supercars, but I can afford to buy one. 245 miles of range on the new ZE50 Renault Zoe. 245 is a good number, by the way, and a realistic number. Best in the segment, easily best in the segment, and for that car, 245 miles, I can't think why you would want to carry more battery around, because most of your journeys are going to be less. But it's good to have it for the long journeys. But why carry all the weight of a big battery? I think it's a good compromise, actually. I don't think that segment of car, of Renault Zoe, of Vauxhall Corsa, that kind of city car, why would you ever really go above about 50 kilowatt hours on a battery? I mean, smaller is fine if you're never doing long journeys. The Zoe now takes DC fast charging. It's about time. If you spec it, of course, it's going to be an optional extra, and that worries me. Not because someone like you or I wouldn't know to spec it, but if somebody walks in to a Renault dealership and they ask about the Renault Zoe and they don't know what they're specking, they might not know to ask to have DC fast charging included. It should be standard. I'm a big fan of the car, a big fan of Renault. I bought one. I spent my own money on them. Clearly I'm a fan. DC fast charging should be standard, or it should not be available. It should not be. It's a chargeable extra. I've got no problem with the money they're charging. It should not be an option, because many car dealers are not good at selling EVs yet. There are exceptions, of course, like most of the Renault Zoes in this country, sold by Will at DSG in Morecambe. I went to buy my car from him. He's 300 miles from where I live. It's how much I rate buying my car from DSG in Morecambe that I would drive the length of this country to go and get my car. Yeah, I know I could have had it delivered on the back of a fossil trailer, but I wanted to drive it down on electric power myself. I don't want to buy local for the sake of it. I wanted a great experience, and Will sells a ton of Renault Zoes and Hyundais and Kias. So he knows what he's talking about. But many others don't. And I worry that somebody would buy this car and then go, I've gone to the motorway services for the first time. What's all this electric car charging about? And where do I plug it in? They could have had DC fast charging if they had spec'd it. Let's hope the education of dealers is getting better. There's new apps, there's Renault Easy Connect, there's smart services that will show you where the charge points are. There's a new motor, 100 kilowatts is the new motor, and an entry level motor, which is the 80 kilowatt motor. I think that's right anyway, from the top of my head. What else do I want to mention? Oh, let's mention B mode, actually, on the Renault Zoe. So one pedal driving, super good. And prices start $18,670. Of course, that is the price after you take off the government free money, the plug-in car grant, and that is battery rental as well, leasing the battery, by the way. So it's just, you're not going to be owning the whole car. That goes up that's the Play, then there's the Iconic line and the GT line, which is $21,620. Still, many people buy their cars on monthly payments, still affordable at $21,620 for a car that'll do almost 250 miles and pay a little bit more, get DC fast charging. It is still a very good option for many, many people. You do not have to be a bazillionaire to drive an electric car. Right, let's go on to question of the week this week. What is your favourite EV experience, or an EV experience you'd like to have? Let me know, if you're not an EV owner, the kind of thing that you'd like to do. If you are an EV owner, what's the best experience that you've ever had? Maybe you've had a test drive in one or something. Email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com. You can leave a comment on the YouTube comments and Facebook as well. Thank you to 245 patrons of the show. You keep me going with your generosity. Thank you very much to my premium partners Phil Roberts, So Electric Future, Brad Crosby, and Avid Technology, appearing this Saturday on the podcast with our first Ask Avid feature, answering your technical questions, because I'm not in a position to do so. I'm an idiot who talks about EVs on a podcast, but they are the experts who make the bits that go inside them. And so we'll be putting your questions to Avid this Saturday. If you want to catch up on the socials, search EV News Daily. Oh, please subscribe to the podcast as well. It's free, and we all love stuff for free, so you might as well. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. And remember, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.